So I have a little story to share with everybody, and it happened to me on Tuesday. And it's not a great story. It is something that was rather alarming, and it has to do with the metal industry in general, also maybe even the music industry. But my big thing is that my niche here on YouTube is to do metal music only, and I imagine that it's going on across every genre. Okay. So here I am. I'm coming home from work. It's 4 o'clock. I punch out, come home. I think I went to the grocery store. I'm home. It was around 4:30 or something like that. Have coffee and dinner with my wife, and then by around 5:30, I head into the studio. And I'm enthusiastic. I'm going to go and review two albums like I've been doing all last week, and I'm going to get them out to the audience, and that will be the way it goes. Every week when I chart all of this stuff, approximately one or two out of every 10 of these albums have a rather substandard or a poor recording, and I feel bad. I really do. And so I go ahead and I'm sifting through all of these things, and the first recording I come across, it has a bad recording. And that's okay, well, whatever, it happens. The second album that I come across, it too is a bad recording. So, okay, ouch, that's never happened to me before. So the third recording, I just sample it a little wee bit. Okay, it's a good recording. I'm going to try this band out. I mark it down, I prepare it and everything like that. And then I move forward and I say, I'm going to find another band. And I'm figuring that, okay, well, I'll find one pretty quick here. But it wound up to be that I went through 8 more albums until I found another one that had a half decent recording that I could review. So now here I am. Let's just do the math here, okay? I recorded 23 new album releases from the 4th to the 11th. I put all of these onto my database and I clipped them off and I sent them off to my Metal Magazine Facebook page. Okay, that's what I did. And it's very typical. Things are ramping up now. There's a lot of new stuff coming out, from after the new year. So 23 new album releases for the week. I just went through 12 of them and I found two that had half decent recordings in them. The rest of them, I'm going to say that if you take a look down here in the slide, this is a tabletop cassette recorder. It's meant to record voice. It's for students. This type of machine was actually available back in the 70s when I was a kid. I remember using one when I was 6, 7, 8, and 10 years old. My sister had one. She had it for school. And these things here, they're not meant for any type of uh, they're not meant for any type of quality recording, just voice recordings, okay, to take memos and so on and so forth. Some of the recordings, not all of them, sounded exactly like a band got together in a small space, maybe in a garage or a shed or something like that, and they used one of these, okay, to record their music with. I kid you not. And I thought to myself, it was very sad. Now, rolling along with what happened there on Tuesday, all 10 of these albums, I couldn't help it. I sat there and I went through about a minute to a minute and a half of each song. And I listened to all of these songs shaking my head in almost disbelief how bad they were. And so I looked at my clock and suddenly it's almost 8 o'clock at night. By 8 o'clock, usually I have a complete video done, the whole thing documented, it's done, and it's sent off, and it's uploading to YouTube, and then, whatever happens, happens. But by this time, after maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes of listening to this stuff, I am wiped out. I am not in the right frame of mind. There's no way that I can do a video because here it is. It's 8 o'clock. I haven't even really started my review yet of these other two albums that were, they were good to go. And I took the night off. And it was basically, it was one of the first times that I've ever had to do that. And I felt all, utterly bad. And again, it wasn't there when I said, oh, I'm going to do another YouTube story about this and get more subscribers. It had nothing to do with that. I just literally felt bad about the whole thing. Now, uh, I didn't know what to say about this, but okay, I'll move forward here very quickly. Now, I understand that a lot of acts, it doesn't matter if you're from pop or if you're from metal or whatever. I understand that it's a hard industry, okay? And the problem with metal, for example, if you take a look above here, I have a statistic from that I got from last year, and there are 80,000 plus active metal bands across the world at any given time, meaning that active meaning that they have one or more released albums per band. Some of them quit, some of them stay, some of them, they take time off, they persist, whatever that they do, but they said that at any given time, 80,000. Okay. Now, the core issue with that is that every one of these bands, okay, they're fighting against time. And that means that there's only 24 hours in a day. And it's a huge market out there. And I don't think it's getting any smaller. Okay. And the number of independently wealthy bands out there, they number less than, I think that they number less than 15 or 20. All the rest of them are in some type of, they make just a mediocre income or whatever. Okay, I won't go into that, but that's the way that that is. So again, getting back to what I was saying is, okay, so I've canceled my day and I've moved forward, and then I began to think, is this going to be like this all the way through? And the alarming bells went off. And so it brought me back to a band that who reached out to me last week. Now, this band here, they're from Peru. Now, here in Canada, the poverty rate sits at around 7 to 7.5 right now. Poverty. In the US, sadly, okay, the poverty rate in the US, I looked online not long ago, it says it's sitting around 12 to 13 at any one given point. Okay, the US is very big. They're struggling to, in certain areas. But Peru, okay, has, when I looked, it was showing that they have a poverty rate of around 30% in Peru, okay? Tough times out there. South America, all that stuff. Now, this band here, Infection, okay, I read a chunk of a letter on another show from 3 or 4 days ago, and this is another portion of the letter. Now, I'm going to say that this band, Infection, is a hardworking, probably struggling band, okay, out that way. I've seen them perform live on YouTube. I think they do really, really great work. But I'm going to continue reading another portion of the letter that came along with their thank you for the first time. Now, if you take a look, the third part, the second paragraph here, you can see my cursor. It says, in keeping with their tradition, the lyrics delve into the darkest corners of human cruelty, shedding light on the pervasive evil of the world. Now, this part here is interesting. It says, guitar reamping reached new heights under the expertise. Sorry, I got to go back here a little wee bit. I don't want to lose it. Okay. Guitar reamping reached new heights under the expertise of Frederick Nordstrom at the renowned Friedman Studios in Gothenburg. Meticulous mixing occurred at the Kill the Pixel Now studio, with the final mastering touches applied by the skilled hands of John Scripp, owner of Massive Mastering and a long-standing collaborator of the band. Now, where am I going with this? The thing is that these guys saved all their money, all their funds. They put their eggs into the good recording basket. And when I reviewed the album, it showed. Okay. It was absolutely phenomenal. It fits the exact description that they gave here. And yeah, the guitars were big, bright. The recording was ultra sharp all the way through. And this band doesn't have a lot of funds. Okay. Times are tough. But really, honestly, guys, where does somebody like myself go into Apple Music and out of 12 recordings come across 2 of them that are half decent to listen to? And it kind of bothered me a little wee bit, and I said to myself, well, there's multiple problems to look at. Okay. So you learn how to play an instrument. Let me get this straight now, okay? You learn how to play an instrument. You get a band together. It takes years to do that, possibly. You go through the motions of composing a whole bunch of lyrics. You compose music. You get all of it together. You struggle, you fight, you love each other, and all of that stuff. And you do all of this on a substandard recording device or in a, I don't get that. How come that would happen? Okay. So I'm going to be very frank with you. I'm going to try and be compassionate, but I don't think that there's any excuse for that. Okay. And I don't know what to say, but the thing is that not only are you depriving yourself of fans, okay, but you release this stuff to the world. And so now you're hurting your fans, but you're also hurting other bands too. You are. And anyone can get into the comment section and feel free to argue the point with me, but I'm going to tell you that if we're all in this together, okay, and for me, I'm just a fan. I'm not a musician or a vocalist or anything like that. I have no talent. But if we're all in this together, it knocks things down a peg. If somebody is being introduced to metal and you're the first album that they listen to and your recording is really awful, you're going to turn them away from metal, and they're going to go out and they're going to tell 200 people within the course of a year. I learned marketing. I know this stuff. They're going to tell everybody about it. And people are just going to say, well, metal's awful in general then. That's how these things get around. 10 out of 12 recordings. I couldn't believe it. Now, tonight I'm going to do another 2 recordings, okay? I literally took 2 days off. That night on Tuesday, I wasn't fit after 2 hours and 15 or 2 hours and 20 minutes of listening to that stuff, just to try and investigate further and see what was going wrong. I wasn't in the frame of mind to do anything. I had a bad headache, and I know that what I would have said in the review would have suffered. So I just didn't do it. But yeah, this is really, really tough to swallow. So yeah, the result of a substandard recording is just going to hit the entire industry. It's not just going to hit you. You know, anyone who's doing this, you have to think about this stuff. So with that said and done, everybody, I am going to get ready for my day at work. I'm going to come home and I'm going to review 2 more albums, and I got to figure this stuff out. I really, really hope that in the next 2 days that I don't go through the rest of the 23 songs that are on that list for the week and find another half dozen of these things. Okay, because they're completely awful. So anyway, I want to bid everybody a fantastic Thursday. Want to thank you for coming out and joining me here, and we will see you guys soon. All right, cheers.